Hello and welcome back to Chrysalis Invictus Tarot. Today I have just important messages for you, and it's going to be an oracle-based reading. So I've got a bunch of my oracle decks here to find messages for you. And I'm just going to place the oils to help you select. So we have, these are oils from Hegroot. We have the Green Man for pile number 1, the Fairy Queen, that focuses, for pile number 2. And this is Ancient Roots for pile number 3. It's mostly rubbed off. And Ellen of the Ways for pile number 4. So making your selection from your intuition. Taking some long, slow, deep breaths, coming into presence, coming into this moment. And we ask your guides, my guides, any energies, entities, ancestors that wish to be here with us today to bring in messages for us. Messages of guidance, inspiration, hope, clarity, whatever it is that we need. And we send healing and thanks to those who have brought these traditions forward. When you're ready, make your selection and I will meet you at your pile. All right, pile number 1. Right away, I'm getting that this is something to do with basic needs and preparation. So perhaps something material. The Green Man is he protects nature. He is a steward of nature. And a powerful earthy entity. So definitely something that you would want to work with if you're trying to bring something into the material world, or if you're working with the body, anything very earthy. So let's take a look at your first oracle card. Ancestors. Wow, yes. Okay, so this is down to the bones. This is the guidance to bring yourself down into your root, either through lineage or through your body. And observe and honor the things that you have been through. There's an honesty that's needed, a fresh new energy that's needed to rectify past behaviors and to mend future generations. I'm going to see if I can channel this. You've bought the cabinet, but if you lock things inside, they cannot be useful. You lock things inside and then borrow them from your neighbors when you have everything you need inside. And I'm getting, there's this like little boy who's hitting, it keeps switching. Sometimes hitting a pan, sometimes hitting one of those children's drums that almost makes a sound like it's a pang, pang, pang sound. And being really overwhelmed. There's a woman who's very overwhelmed. She has so many children. And she feels alone and stuck and overwhelmed. And she just wants him to stop banging. And she breaks a little bit each time. But this would be a moment she would remember over and over and over again in her life. And she would regret how she behaved. And that moment has rippled out through generations. And there's this man, he works with metals. He could be a mechanic, someone who fixes machines or builds machines. And he's emotionally just shut down. He doesn't even speak. And it's almost mean the way he doesn't speak. And there's someone smashing glasses, screaming. What is the message here, please? These moments, these small moments, they ripple out and we carry them through us, and we carry the pain of these unresolved things. None of these people, none of these ancestors closed those books. They didn't find calm. They didn't find peace before they died. They allowed it to carry on. And there are issues of boundaries. There are issues of space and caring and loneliness. I did not expect to be channeling ancestors today. Like a bird. Yeah, this is what I was getting. So whatever you are carrying that is not your own, that is of your ancestors, that is from past lives, and you can work with meditations, shamans, if you want to. You can reach out to me and I will help you with this work. It's it's almost like you need to take a bird's eye view of this thing, because you're feeling it in your bones, you're feeling it in your body, and you some of these experiences are not your own. They're ones that you're carrying on from another time. And this is really going to liberate you to get these up off of your back. Home in the sky. So if you're wondering if you have these ancestors with you, you definitely do. They're there to help you see what is yours and what you can leave behind. There's this boundary issue that continuously gets crossed. And resolution of these ancestral, the things that have been passed on in your DNA, as you begin to resolve those, you'll see more clearly. You'll see your way. I'm just going to get some tarot cards to answer a few questions. And this is from Tarot of the Unknown Shadows. I should have known that I was going to be channeling when I pulled up these cards. Okay. Knight of Swords. And the Seven of Wands. Yeah, you struggle to communicate your truth because of this. This is the heaviness that weighs on you. It's almost like you carry like a shame, regret, things like that. And so when you speak, you feel like you are, that people can see these are crimes that you didn't even commit. And you feel like people can see them. And you feel like, who am I to speak perhaps. What weighs on you are the things that were never said. And this is something that can carry on in home environments. So perhaps the cycles that started however many generations ago are still affecting your home life or your parents' home life. And you see these patterns play out over and over in different ways, rippling out from this one center, from those small moments where someone didn't say something. And it happened enough times that it continued to become a problem. It continued to weigh on future generations. So the message that I'm getting right now is that you are called to work in your body, in the ancestral realm. Look at your roots. So one of the things that is involved in this is being honest and true about your roots. So maybe you didn't agree with the views of your ancestors. Maybe you don't agree with their actions, but they were still people like you who made mistakes. Sending that compassion and healing back. Humility. Flowers are unaware of each other's beauty. They bloom regardless. Okay, and there's a message here about comparing oneself. Again, when you are deep in these, so even though you're being called to go into the earth, this is not being stuck. This is about liberating yourself and looking at it from a bird's eye view, looking at yourself from that perspective. It could be really helpful to go to therapy, maybe cognitive behavioral therapy if you're not already doing that, just to shift your perspective. And break those patterns. I'm not a therapist, so finding professional help could be really helpful, especially if these ancestral wounds are close to you. So you're not carrying in something that's from 6 generations ago. You're carrying something that is really fresh and recent. But it's almost like you look at other people and think that they have it together. You look at other people and think that they don't, that they're going to see that you're some sort of like monstrous thing, or that you have made mistakes that you haven't made. It's really strange. Like you're carrying the shame of others, and then that leads to comparison. Like you look at other people and think that you want what they have. And let's be real, a lot of people are carrying things we don't know anything about, right? So that's a good reminder. Opportunities unfurl like a fern even without warm sunlight. So if there is something within this family situation that you cannot heal, know that you can heal yourself. You are the only thing that you can control in this situation. And it looks to me like there's a happy, stable home ahead for you, opportunities for growth and for this beautiful life. But while you're stuck in the old stuff, it's just not coming through. It's not able to make its way out. I don't know if this is making any sense. It's very, we had several ancestors come through, and so there's a lot of voices all trying to come out in one message. We're going to get a little bit of a story about what's ahead from Lord Norman's cards. That a secret there might be, it is written in this book. Let us discover it, giving the cards a closer look. If your home did not shelter you, this is what you are creating. Value security. Know that it is possible to have security. Know that it is not just a dream. It is your right to feel safe and secure in your home. If you are playing out this ancestral pattern, that you are able to break it. There's also a book that you need to find. So you can do that by going to a bookstore, standing in front, letting your guides, your ancestors guide you. Stand there and just wait to be shown where to go. And we have, when the friendly moon shines down at you from near upon your shores, he is announcing a nicer career, glory, and honor are to be yours. Yes. So we have a really favorable outcome here. This is something that you can absolutely make it through, that you can get through. Your ancestors are with you. And maybe you don't have the same political views as your ancestors, but remember that these are, this is their spirit, their soul, their energy, their entity. Like, it is not who they were in the material world. And so, you know, politics is a very material situation. It's a very earthly situation. So, you know, when you start breaking things down, you realize everyone has a heart. Everyone's trying to protect themselves or their loved ones, and making a lot of mistakes along the way, which does not excuse various crimes, but it does help us to understand and to come into that place of compassion. So definitely called to ancestral healing here. And I'm going to leave it there for you. Thank you so much for joining pile number 1. Take care. Pile number 2, welcome to your reading. You chose the Fairy Queen oil. So let's take a look at your cards. I'm getting that there's something to do here with notoriety, flashing lights, being known, attention, something of that nature, fame even, enchantment. Okay. How much does it matter to you what people think? How much do you need or feed on admiration? A closer look would say that there is something truly magnetic and beautiful about the inside of you, about, I don't mean to be your mother and say, you know, you're beautiful from the inside out. But I mean, it's true. But there's something that it's almost like you feel like it's the outside of you. You feel like it's the way you look that attracts people, but it's actually something inward. And so sometimes you get hyper fixated on the way you look or the way you present or how popular you are, thinking that that is what is drawing people in, but it's not. And so when you get into that space of thinking like, I'm not attractive enough, or, you know, something like that, a bit dysmorphic, that's when people are not attracted to you. That's when people sort of move away. It's that cycle that repeats itself, right? That feeling that people are not attracted to you makes people not attracted to you. And so there's something about insecurity here. And I'm feeling like there are ways that you are very secure as a human being, and, you know, talents and things that you feel very secure about. But there's something to do with your looks that is really highlighted here. The other part of this is developing your magical gifts, or understanding your magical gifts and the responsibilities therein. Something to do with emotion is very key and important to your magical gifts. Gypsy Queen. It's the fortune comes from the heart. The fortune comes from adversity and from desperation and from knowing what you know of struggle and being treated the way you have been treated for the way that you look. I'm getting that you have a very unique look to you and people are very attracted to you, but again, it's something that is from the inside out. So while you may be very physically beautiful and unique looking, it's like doubled by the way what's coming from the inside. And matcha, okay, so matcha is an aspect of the Morrigan. Wow, okay, you have a lot of spiritual power. You have a lot of magical gifts. You have the ability to, at some points, whether you know it or not, you have the ability to shapeshift. So as you go into visions, you can take the form of anything. But I'm getting that you're using it on small tricks. So you're using it on your appearance, and the more you use it in situations that don't matter, it's taking energy away from the situations that do, the situations where this gift is needed or more valuable. So this is sort of like, glamoring yourself. So glamour is a kind of, it's a fairy magic. What card was this? Oh, this was the Fairy Queen. Okay, this fits completely. You are called to recognize your ability to shapeshift. So sometimes you will appear as a wise old hag kind of energy in order for people to feel that what you're saying is legitimate. Sometimes you will appear taller when you need to have a level of intimidation or, to take up space. Sometimes you will appear smaller. And in those situations, it's like to feel like maybe so that people are triggered to protect you or like to form some kind of relationship to innocence. This is extremely important and powerful to understand about yourself, that you have this power to shapeshift yourself and to alter people's perceptions of yourself. But when are you using these gifts, and how much is a big issue here. Again, I'm just getting that you're using it for things that don't matter. And Spirit is asking you to use it in some other way. 5 of Pentacles. Okay. So you're using it to belong in places you don't need to belong. It is okay to be separate. You have Fairy Queen and Gypsy Queen. This is really interesting. You may have Romani background, like actually be from that tradition, and that may be something that you want to connect with the mystery of that tradition. And there is very much a level of glamour that is needed to hold that vision of the mystic and the fortune teller. But when you use it to try and belong, you're misusing those gifts. And the Star. Something important is born in your heart. I haven't really spoken much on matcha here. So again, there's this shape-shifting between crow and human form and tree even here. She's literally shape-shifted into a tree. But this is the shadow self. So this is the outside self. This is what you sort of shift into this you shift to belong, And then here is the shadow self that shifts uncontrollably based on your emotions. I'm hearing there's a dragon born in your heart. And that fire is a fire of creation. And you are meant to be making gifts with these abilities. Use your courage to tame this aspect of yourself, but tame it not so that it dampens this creative energy, but so that it protects it, feeds it. It's like coming into the flow, understanding when it is time to go dark and when it is time to emerge. And here with the mermaid, she's half water, half human, like half earth, half water. This very in-between space. Yeah, it's time to move away from the idea of belonging. It's time to move away from that so that you can start to progress, so that you can start to grow your gifts, grow your abilities. Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is the queen of witchcraft, really. She's got the cat at her feet, and she's got this wand. She also has the lions here, so she's tamed the lions. She's tamed that brightness, that light. I'm getting right now that there's this self-destructive quality to you that you try to put down in order to live your life, is actually what I'm hearing. You feel like you have to live your life. Probably because of how people have reacted to your gifts before. I think people can be really afraid of you and intimidated by you. I just want to mention that there is Aquarius, Leo, and Cancer. You are a very powerful, here we go, wands again, powerful, impulsive, fiery energy. Stabilizing these gifts is going to be so incredibly amazing for you. But play around with the shape-shifting. So maybe finding some guidance with shape-shifting. Shape-shifting in visions. Different animals will help you as well, because as you feel into their energies, it can stabilize parts of yourself. So for instance, most recently, I shifted into a raccoon, and it helps me feel adorable, honestly, and just like, I do what I do. Safe and happy travel. Okay, so if you are, I feel like you've received some bad guidance along the way. I feel like you found teachers that didn't really fulfill you, or maybe you've gone off in some sort of direction. You're being called back to center, being called back to we have both the Romani tradition here and the Celtic, so there could be something there for you to go back to find stories, maybe even looking into the stories of the mermaids shape-shifting into a mermaid and exploring the depths in that way. But I really do feel like you need to be careful who teaches you. Protection from harm when journeying. So you can draw this symbol before you journey for protection. I think largely one of the things that needs to be protected here is your, just because we can do something doesn't mean we should. So again, I like going back to the beginning where you're shape-shifting when you don't need to. It's like knowing when to use your gifts and when not to use your gifts. I feel like you end up using magic in times when you don't need it, and then you don't have it when you need it. And there's just kind of that. So ask the universe for a teacher. Power symbol. Cleanse, purify, and protect the physical body. Again, protection is needed. So I get with this enchantment and with, you know, the powerful energies that are present here, this beautiful like star, the beautiful Queen of Wands, and the woman in the Strength card. I feel like there are a lot of people that are envious of you. They're envious of your mysterious nature, and you've tried to be like, no, don't be threatened by me. Let it go. Let them be threatened. Let them do what they want to do, but don't let it shift you into this dark space or make you feel lesser than or whatever. Time to shine. Oh my gosh, exactly what I'm just saying. Step into it. Create the energetic resonance for golden opportunities. And this is also the energetic resonance of that star card and that dragon born in the heart thing that I was talking about. You have this like beautiful, bright light and this potent magic. And it's almost like you're getting dragged down by things and people that don't matter. And you may love those people. They could be people that are sacred to you, even like family members, but these gifts are for you. So protect them. Trust only the best teachers with them. And I think that's where I'm going to leave it for you. So thank you so much for joining. Please like, subscribe, comment. I would love to know how this resonated, and take care. Pile number 3, welcome to your reading. I sat down to do a simple oracle reading, but Spirit had other plans. These have been kind of intense and really interesting. So you had ancient roots with the ancient worn off. And all I keep hearing is blessed, blessed, blessed. So let's dig into this and see what messages there are for you. Abundance. Wow. How do you measure abundance? So I'm getting 2 things for you here. I feel like you oscillate between feeling very abundant and feeling almost guilty for this abundance. Or that you're trying to manifest this abundance and then you feel guilty because you think, okay, but if I have and other people don't have, like that weighs on you. I get there's a strong sense of conscience. Jeez, a strong sense of conscience here. I'm going to pull, this is very different from the other piles. Let's pull some Secret Garden cards. There's this growth and transformation and like everything that you are earning and everything you will earn, you have earned. You have grown and transformed, and you have been kind and you've been caring. Hidden depths. You only see the surface, look beyond. You're going to be my twirly-whirly pile, I think. Present. Journey into the garden to escape the 2 eternities, the past and the future. Okay, so if we want to use the term manifesting, okay, and this was on the bottom of the deck, and I feel like I have to show this to you. Persevere, leave no stone unturned. If we are looking at this from the perspective of manifesting, I feel like you only see what you have now, not where you're not seeing where you've come from from the perspective of the present. So what that means is that how do I explain this? When you are looking at the past, you may not look at the past as like, oh, that was a lesson that taught me, you may be projecting like shame or embarrassment or guilt or something into that space, and looking at the past from within the past. If you look at the past in the present, you know that you are no longer in the past and you feel much freer, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And then certainly by the time you get to the future, you're looking back at the past as this, building block, as this thing that you had to move through, that you had to go through. And then the future tense is always a space of anxiety, right? It's the space of not knowing, not being able to control the unknown. And you are really being called into it's amazing, into the garden, into the center, into this abundance, the abundance that you have right now in this moment. Not what you are trying to bring into your life, but what you already have. So looking around you at, maybe you don't have a material abundance, or maybe you do have a material abundance, but you don't have relational abundance. So whatever it is that you perceive as lacking, not looking at the lack, but looking at what it is you actually already have, like what is around you, because I feel like you have tremendous blessings around you that you really just have to kind of turn your head and look, and you'll see them. I'm going to pull some cards, a few more oracle cards, to get a deeper perspective on this message. And that's this look beyond. So look beyond what you don't have to what you do have. And the persevere, I feel like, is your energy. I feel like you continue to persevere, you continue to push, you continue to drive this thing forward. But if you step into the moment, you may be further along than you think. We have crane. Let go of limiting beliefs. Be as expansive in your thoughts as your soul is. This is absolutely perfect. Surrender. And these limiting beliefs, I think, are the surface level. So this is where you're being asked to go deeper. The hidden depths are surrender. And surrendering from trying. You can persevere without having to push, I think, is highlighted here. Oh my gosh, look at this card. Isn't this cute? Hedgehog. Acceptance. Wow. Yeah. Acceptance. Embrace who you are. Okay. Pile number 3. I feel like everything you need or want is with you already. There are things that will be coming to you, but it's almost like they come to you as you surrender, as you accept. Like, there's nothing more that needs to be done except for this acceptance and surrendering. And just like leaning into it. I'm getting like the feeling of floating. I'm also getting a lot of water energy from this pile, so you may be a water sign. You don't have to be. But it's like you can't float if you're trying. You can't float if you're like, floating is the absence of doing, right? And so this flow and this abundance can't come to you if you're continuously striving. So let that go. Let that go. And we have Baronia. Do not fear or doubt the new paths ahead. And that fear and that doubt, that's that anxiety of the future. This is a very cohesive, direct message now. I thought we were going to be all twisty and all over the place, but I just had to throw out the format that I was using for the other piles and go with it, which is reflective of this message for you, which is kind of great. And Daphne, What pleases us most shapes us. Oh my gosh, how beautiful is that? What pleases you most, pile number 3? That is your abundance. So you know what this is? Like, it's like if you love nothing more than sitting out in a backyard with a nice lemonade on a sunny day, it's making sure that on a sunny day you park your butt in that backyard and you enjoy that sunny day. It's almost like you deny yourself these things sometimes because you think you have to. Always remain true to your intentions. And your intention here is this beautiful, abundant life. And you can remain true to that by surrendering to this flow, by accepting where you're at in this moment. Be here now, be in the present. This is your message, pile number 3. Thank you so much for joining. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and we'll see you soon. Bye. Pile number 4, welcome to your reading. You chose Ellen of the Ways oil. Ellen of the Ways is a kind of a grandmotherly goddess. She's the only horned goddess in the northern tradition, and she rules pathways. So anything that follows a current or a pathway. And I'm hearing, so there's this book called Drive Your Plow Over the Bones of the Dead by Olga. I can't remember her last name. So you may want to check out that book or check out the William Blake poem. I feel like this came up a while ago, like a couple of months ago in a different reading. So if you have not checked that out and you were watching that reading, check out that poem. Or it's The Marriage of Heaven and Hell by William Blake, or check out that book. So there may be something there for you, but there's definitely something to do with grandmother energy. Let's see what card you have. Playfulness. Okay, so pile number 4, I feel like you take yourself too seriously. And I don't want to say that as an accusation. I totally get it. But it's like this hinders you. It blocks you. It is a blockage for your connections and a blockage for your transformation. While it's really great to be studious and to be productive and to be all of those things, you also need to, will also need to balance it out with a sense of playfulness, with some revelry, with some humor. If you can't laugh at yourself, then people are always laughing at you. And so get in on the joke, you know? Show up for yourself in a way that feels really fun and maybe frivolous even, if you can open yourself up to frivolity. I really don't know what cards to pull for you to support this message. If you look at yourself in your entirety, you're an immense person. You have a really strong personality. You have a really strong sense of self, which is wonderful. But we don't want to get stuck inside of ourselves. We want to be able to grow and thrive and fly. It may be valuable for you to travel and use that as an opportunity to kind of look back on your life. The gift. There's an unopened gift here. There's an unopened gift. And a level of control, like with the swan, I'm thinking of, you know, floating on the surface, and then underneath the legs are going crazy, and it's almost like you want everyone to think you're perfect. whether this is conscious or not. And there's some really, really beautiful imperfections inside of you that are going to resonate so much with other people. There's something very dynamic about your imperfections that are like they're needed in this world. People need to see them. And to the moon and back. Okay, so I see that there was rejection and there was heartache and there was, what was reflected back to you maybe in times when you did embrace play a little bit more was not necessarily positive or encouraging. And so that made you draw that fun side of yourself inward and hide it, because that is a vulnerable part of ourselves, right? And we don't want to feel bad about being silly or about it makes sense with that vulnerability why you kind of store that part of yourself away. But I'm seeing this awakening. It could be that some of my pile fours, it's time for you to sing again. So maybe at some point in your life you got discouraged about singing, or you stopped singing, or you stopped dancing. And you don't have to sing or dance well in order to enjoy it, or in order for it to be something. Yeah, this is really going to help break you out of your shell. And some of the things that you have been working on in your life will transform almost magically by you opening yourself up to this unique rhythm that you have, this unique song, this unique expression. The Lovers. Okay. So the main way that this blockage, if you will, expresses itself is in romantic relationships, and any time that you need to make a choice where it's almost like you put head versus heart. I feel you looking out. It's almost like looking out a window, longing for something else, because there's this part of you, this current within you that wants something else. And you just kind of look longingly at it. And you may even scoff at people who live that kind of truth, who live that way. But that's self-defensive, right? And so if you are in a situation where you're struggling with relationships, this is part of it. So if you can bring a sense of play into your relationships, it may help to evolve it. Yeah, there's definitely a need for fire energy, creativity, passion. What excites you? This is also, for me, I feel like planning travel, maybe planning to do something that's like a reset button, like jumping out of a plane or bungee jumping, or like some sort of like thing that may seem risky but like really, really thrilling, just to make you feel alive. Sometimes it can be going on a roller coaster. Okay, and then and your heart. Letting your heart open. Letting yourself travel and move toward the things that your heart is longing for. You're allowed to have that. You're allowed to make choices because your heart wants it. You don't have to keep those things away from yourself just because they aren't practical or logical. sometimes the most practical choice is the one that seems the most illogical. Because it jumpstarts, it's almost like you need like this fire is like a shock, like, you know, the electric shock to like restart the heart. That's what you need, is just like a shake it up. Silence, listen more, and quiet be. This is about listening to your heart, but also, like with Belladonna, it makes me think of shadows. It makes me think of hidden things, hidden parts of yourself. You know, because you want people to perceive you a certain way, you want people to perceive you as serious or as having authority. What makes you think you can't have authority and be playful at the same time? You know, where did that come from? Where did that idea of authority come from? Because there are plenty of people who can have both, you know. Authority is something that we carry within us. It's not a set of personality characteristics, and that is something that I think probably over time is becoming more and more outdated, this idea that you have to act a certain way to hold authority. But this is what I'm getting here, is this like listening into your heart once again. Listening into your heart. Queen of Cups, Peony, health. Focus on all parts to make the whole. Yeah. And so you've kind of been living without your heart a little bit. Not that you haven't loved or that you haven't, you know, played or had bits and pieces of this, but this is really, I really do feel like there's been a neglected part of yourself, and you're being called to bring that back, to honor it. We have Gemini here, and then I want to say Scorpio. I don't know why. Okay, Orange Blossom, enthusiasm. The best can be here, believe it. I feel like some of my pile fours are people who have not been excited about anything since 1994, or at least not giddy about something. It's almost like the aging process has taken the excitement out of things. So maybe you used to have fun, maybe you used to, you know, be a little bit wilder, and then that kind of life just kind of got in the way. And spirituality, so that's going to help you as well. It's time to connect with what you believe. What you believe rather than what you know. Like I feel like there's a side of me that is a really unfun kind of like nerd who's like, oh, but this, and very much ruled by anxiety and fear. And then, you know, that part of myself is necessary to balance out the part of myself that's incredibly impulsive and wants to just like be wild and do feral things. And both are needed. But if we only listen to the voice of the nerd, like, it's limiting our experience, right? And there's still a longing within you that you're continuously saying no to, essentially. So I think I'm going to leave it there for you, pile number 4. Please leave a comment, like, subscribe, and yeah, thank you for joining me on my channel. Take care. Bye.